Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. Let me talk a bit about how February went for me. The month started with me being sick. The first 5 days were spent in bed with runny nose, runny eyes, and a whole lot of grumpiness. Once I was up and running again, I sat down to do a timeline of everything that's happened in the previous 6 books. I wanted to include that for a long time, something that would help me and the reader, and I thought that this book is perfect for this. The second thing I needed to do for this book was go through all the proofreading. Thanks to my dear friend Mira, who has done all the proofreading so far. She sent me the chapters as she finished them, and I would go through each one. I also worked on the extras. There are a few comic strips by the end of the book. And at last, on February 9th, I sat down to write the afterword. On the 10th of February, I sat down to work on the January review video. And I didn't do anything else. I just lazy around and had fun. I have no footage of this, but I spent some time catching up to Tomb Raider 3. I've been replaying the series since 2017. So once I finished the book, I went back to that. And then I sat down to work on an illustration for a bookmark set that I want to give away with the pre-orders. I really enjoyed the illustration, and once I finished it, 2 of my friends thought that it was the cover of the book. And I was so tempted to go with it, but I knew that I had another idea. On February 14th, I sat down to work on concepts for the cover, and I came up with 2. I knew what color palette that I wanted blue, and I knew a rough idea of where I want to place the characters, so I did these 2 concepts. 2 days later, I sat down again and worked on 3 more ideas for the cover. I printed them in small scale to see how they look, and if they're attractive enough, I printed them in black and white to see the values as well. I took out what I didn't want and then decided to go with one that was the first one that I sketched. Now that I'm gonna commit to illustrating the cover and coloring it, I decided to go over which audiobooks I want to listen to. I picked another biography by Beatrix Potter because I just love to hear about her. I also started Dean and Me, a love story. It's an autobiography about the 2 comedian duo, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. And I started 12 Rules of Life, the big bestseller on Amazon, and I completely committed myself to coloring the cover. 4 days later, I finished the illustration, and I really loved it, but something told me that it's not the cover of the book. No matter how I looked at it, it gave me trouble, so I left it and decided to go over the work that I need to finish for the upcoming Comic-Con in Dubai. I worked on the accessories and the keychains, and that was a good time off from cover that's been stressing me out. I fixed a few things, removed the grass that was bugging me, and did a test print. I really liked it, but still, I didn't feel like this is the cover that I want for this book. So I went back to a blank canvas and tried to think of more ideas for the cover. I did a few sketches, even clean sketches, until I found exactly what I wanted for the cover. 4 hours later, I finished the illustration. And I did a test print for the book and the cover. And this is how the timeline will work in the book. On Sunday, February 26th, I visited the new printer that I had in mind. We talked about paper, I took some samples and test printed a few pages. I decided on the type of paper that I want, and the following day I got my price and I went and registered the book, and I got an ISBN for it. The last day, I took out my notebook and scanned it to do a handbook on the side, and I test printed that. And that was everything that happened in February. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next month.